actually way better.
Better? How's that?
That's pretty solid. I think people will complain less.
Okay.
That's what we're
Where do you
fighting.
get most of your views? Are you on all the apps, or are you just on YouTube?
On the apps? What do you mean all the apps?
Like, it's the podcast app.
Oh yeah, it's on Apple Podcasts. I'm gonna put it on Spotify in maybe 2 weeks or something. This was my plan. He said you just have to start paying like a fee, and I'm like,
Yeah.
The fucking man doesn't need any more fucking money. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, you pay all the money to get it off the ground. You just got to keep funneling it in.
Yeah, man, that's how it just fucking goes. That's what we do, man. It's really hard to get. It's really hard to get from zero to hero, in anything.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous, bro.
It's a lot of work. You got to put in the hours.
Oh my God.
You got to put in so many hours.
Dude.
It never ends.
Dude,
and then it just becomes your life. And then you wake up one day, it's like, oh, I haven't done anything else for like 5 months.
No, it's exactly that, bro. Like, dude, that's been consuming me lately is like, good Lord. Like the 0 to 1 learning curve of like anything that's not like a traditional job is just like sucks. Like, oh God, breaking up. It's so, it's just so long and you don't know if it's going to go anywhere,
Yeah.
And you're like,
you don't know it's working until it works.
Yeah, dude. At least like if you're fucking like, I don't know, like gonna be a consultant or something, you're like, yo, if I don't know, like if your boss is gonna tell you if you're doing okay or not, like,
yeah,
or like you're gonna like they're gonna pay you for even showing up, like it's crazy, bro. Man. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess why don't you tell the people where the fuck you are right now?
I'm currently in the Hampton Inn in Hagerstown, Maryland. We're about 70 miles outside of Washington, D.C. I'm with the People's Convoy right now. And so it started all the way back in Adelante, California. Me and my driver, Craig, we hopped in Monrovia, Indiana. And past few days, we've just been circling the Beltway, which is the network of the highway network right outside of DC. It kind of leads into Maryland, Virginia, Baltimore, and the city proper. And we're here there's about 1,000, there was like 1,000 trucks on Friday. And then we kind of lost some on Saturday. But then Sunday night, we had 2 other convoys from Pennsylvania and one from the Northwest, like Idaho and Fresno, joined up with us. So we're still about 1,000 or so strong, and they're just going to keep circling the Beltway until their demands are met, I guess.
And so what are the demands here?
Well, it started out with 2 guys, I believe it was Brian and Mike, and they're like, hey, we got some trucks, let's strap some American flags to it, go from California to DC and just see who we meet and see what happens. And then just as they just started getting more and more trucks joining them. Like leaving California, there was like 150. And by the time they were in Kansas City, it had grown just exponentially.
Good
and
Lord,
so it's a lot of it is due to like COVID mandates. They want to end all mandates because it's a big thing with the truckers, of you either have to get the vaccine or you lose your job kind of deal if you're working for like a trucking company. And just a lot of guys don't agree with that. But it's kind of, I think for a lot of people, it's really evolved more into like just freedoms and not agreeing with the way that our government is dictating things. And like a lot of people are just kind of saying that they feel like the government is just kind of profiting off of them, and they need to be reminded that they work for the people and that they're the public servants and we're not the servants, I think is a way of putting it.
So it's big amongst the trucking industry is where this is kind of starting from.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of
so how are the mandates affecting the truckers right now? Because I know there's a huge thing going on in Canada also with truckers on strike and shit.
Oh yeah, we have one of the guys that was in Ottawa was with us for a few days here in DC. But it's the way that they're being affected is if you're a trucker, you're usually an owner operator, so you have your own truck and you do deliveries for people, or you work for a larger company. And so like a guy has a bunch of guys working for him who all drive trucks and they're making deliveries. And a lot of big companies are like maybe like UPS and places like that. They're saying that you have to get a vaccine or you lose your job.
And so
and a lot of guys are taking issue with the fact that they don't necessarily believe the science or they don't trust the vaccine in any way, and they don't want to have to follow these demands of a cause that a lot of guys don't believe in or lose their job. They just feel that's unjust. And it's also a lot to do with the federal mandates and the mask mandates as well.
It is super interesting how we've kind of progressed into this.
Well, you're frozen for me.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I hear you now, but you're not. Yes, but you're not moving.
Okay, wait. Let me.
You're moving now. Okay, I think we're good.
I think I had a tab or two. I had two tabs open. Too many tabs open. Yeah, no. It's super interesting how we've just had the government is just like slowly.
It could also be the efficacy.
What were you saying?
Hold on, you're just breaking up again.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying it's just very interesting how I feel like the government has pushed this mandate thing. I mean, whether or not it's just is up for determination. It's just like the fact that we're pushing just mandating shit just is weird to me, man. Like it's just like it's like why are you really doing it? What are you saying?
I think it's kind of an overstep of the Constitution, the federal the Emergency Act. Like you can just declare a state of emergency and then you're allowed to just kind of step above the Constitution and do whatever you want. That's how FDR threw a bunch of Japanese people in internment camps in World War II, and a few other presidents just kind of. Abraham Lincoln kind of did the same thing. He threw some reporters in jail that weren't agreeing with him during the Civil War.
He did.
It's just a way of the government just kind of overreaching powers and going beyond the bounds of the Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, I guess where I come down to it is like, sure, you have this vaccine and like it's it's probably doing it. I mean, it's definitely doing some good for like portions of the population, definitely the more susceptible portions of the population.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we have medicine. We've done this before. Like if you want to get a flu shot, you get a flu shot. If you want to take fucking Advil, take fucking Advil. But like when have we ever been like, yo, there's this thing and you just have to get it? Oh, it's like you can't go fucking shopping, or like drive your truck for your job. Like what the hell? Like then it gets to a point where I'm like, why are we really doing this? Who's really benefiting from putting these mandates in place?
Well, since you and I are from Illinois, so we know how corrupt things can get when it comes to our politics. Like our governor, J.B. Pritzker, right before he decided to like really ramp up the testing in Illinois, he invested a bunch of money into a COVID testing company.
He did?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
I was unaware of this. Tell me more.
Well, I mean, where do you think all that money is going? Who benefits from these things by putting extra things in place that have to be paid for with all this COVID relief money? It's beneficial to, you know, kind of heighten the numbers and make things a bigger deal than they actually seem. Let me pull up a source for you real quick.
Go for it.
Well, what's your kind of general take on the whole COVID thing?
On the whole COVID thing?
Do you think it's, yeah, like, do you think it's,
I mean, so it's tough. It's tough.
Like obviously it's a disease that's killing people.
Yeah, no, that's the 100% the really tough part is that you're just like having lots of people die. Like lots of people dying is hard to it's hard to overlook, you know. I mean, not maybe necessarily like overlook, but like it's hard to be like, yo, it doesn't really matter, or like, you know, shit like that. Like
that's not
because so many people are dying.
That's not a nice thing to say.
No, it's not a nice thing to say. And if anyone's like, yo, you're killing people by doing this or doing that, you're like, and like, you know, when someone's like in this grocery store and they're like, put on your fucking mask, man, you're killing people. And then you're like, how do you win that conversation? You don't. You don't.
Yeah, it's just,
you're like, well, I could tell you in the next 25 minutes about weird things that are going on with COVID and how like certain, you know, statistics, and I pull up a bunch of documents and shit, but like no one's got time for that shit. We're headliners.
Yeah, like,
right? I mean, what are you gonna do? Stop?
Lives to live.
What are you gonna, like? They're fucking getting some tomatoes for soup tonight. Like, what are you gonna tell them? Okay, let's go. So I'll screen share the thing we got here. Let's see. Mr. J.B. Pritzker. Pritzker family firm has ties to COVID-19 testing companies. The Pritzker Group, a private and venture capital firm co-founded by Governor J.B. Pritzker, is connected to at least two companies created COVID-19 tests. Oh God. J.B. Pritzker owns at least two companies creating COVID-19 tests, according to a news report. Pritzker has boasted Illinois is now testing the most residents per capita among the most populous states.
I wonder why.
And then he's quoted, "I really have been uninvolved for 3 years, so if there's anything like that, I would not know about it," Pritzker said to his own company.
Yeah, sure, JB.
I mean, when you're talking, here's the thing: when you're talking, we knew shit like this was gonna happen. Like he's has a 3.4 estimated $3.4 billion personal fortune. You know, like, I mean, gosh, it's wild, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're all crooked. It's the worst.
So I guess like
everyone's dirty in this world.
So like, why isn't our government listening to us? Like, that's the big movement you're going with for.
Yeah, I guess there's just a big disconnect. You have these career politicians who get into office and they don't leave for 40 years. And they haven't worked in the private sector. They haven't had a real job in 40 years. They haven't lived. They haven't, had to gone through the motions. Another big thing is that, there's just all this corruption and money to be made that who cares what the people want, if you're in it for yourself. Like, small time families like the Obama family or the Bush family, they entered politics as just these simple people and they leave multimillionaires. Like, it's kind of just ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's something that I've thought about is like, like ideally we would have poor politicians, because you would know those people would be pure. But where I come to it that's very difficult is that, I mean, if you're gonna be able to convince millions and millions of people to vote for you and like go about like stop their
Yeah.
life to come to the polls to go vote your name, you're gonna have to like
Hmm.
be pretty good at convincing people to do things that in your favor. So like you're probably gonna be
Yeah.
rich, you know, and you're
Hmm.
probably gonna be good at communicating ideas and good into talking to people and business savvy and good at marketing. So like you're just gonna get money doing it, or like just gonna have that skill set, and then the money's just gonna start pouring your way, especially once you get into a position of power like that. Like why would you
Hmm.
not?
Exactly. Like no one's perfect. I mean, I
Yeah.
bet if I was a politician, I probably wouldn't be clean.
Yeah. I think that really goes back to, are you familiar with the Citizens United case back in like the 70s Supreme Court?
No, I don't think so.
So that's the
You can do a
court
quick
case.
crash course.
No, yeah, go for it. Yeah, so that's the case like 40, 50 years ago where the Supreme Court decided that businesses were businesses had
Oh,
freedom of
they
speech.
basically, oh yeah, they basically count as a citizen,
Yeah, they
so
basically
they
counted
can just kind
businesses
of
as a
do whatever they want
citizen.
with their money.
So yeah, so they have freedom of speech and thus have freedom to put their money wherever they want and thus have freedom to buy out politicians. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't know if we're ever gonna have like how can society function when our people are just getting paid by everyone? Like it's absurd that we all know that our politicians are getting bought out, but it just still keeps happening, you know?
Yeah.
Like why have we not,
Like,
why is there no change at all?
well, because I think what it boils down to is, nobody's perfect. So like, that's kind of why I have a problem with socialism. Because like, oh, you just assume that because you'll get rid of all the old fat cats, that all the new people you put in power aren't going to be as corrupt.
Mm,
Like, everyone's susceptible to it. Humans are evil little creatures.
sometimes I think
Yeah, I
there
mean,
is.
there's people out there who do good, but I just think power is a very corruptible,
mm,
thing.
mm-hmm. There's for sure that but I one thing interesting, I was talking to my buddy the other day and we were talking about civic service. So someone that I had
Yeah.
just interviewed on the podcast, like it was like yesterday or the day before, he's in the Israeli military. And so in Israel, they have mandatory military service. For
Hmm.
for men, it's 2 years and 8 months. For women, I think it's 2 years. So like they have like 75% enrollment in the military, basically, which I don't know if necessarily that's the best way to do it. That starts stepping on freedoms also. But the idea of having a mandatory like civic service is a very interesting idea, in which like
Yeah.
I personally feel like everyone, all these every American is just like trying to take on the world by themselves in a way, like, oh, if I,
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone wants a cause to
yeah,
fight for.
yeah, so like how I see is like we don't rely on our communities anymore. Like back 100 years ago, if you didn't rely on your community, you weren't eating, or you weren't, you know getting the milk, the cows milked,
Hmm.
or you wouldn't getting the land farmed, like, like if you didn't have community, you weren't getting your kids to school. But now we're trying to like it's tough
Yeah. I
because it's
think
starting to
part of that
come.
is because the media likes to push this idea of individuality. And I think a big part of that is because individuals are easy to crush when they're all alone. Because the
Mm,
media likes to divide us and separate us. And a stronger family unit and a stronger community is like a harder people to oppress.
yeah,
If you're a lot closer to your neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors, then you're a much stronger community and you can get things done and you can take action when you need to.
yeah, it's powerful. I mean, we're seeing that in Ukraine right now also. I mean, at least from what we're getting, this kind
Oh
of
yeah.
information strand. But like what we're hearing in America is like everyone ages 18 to 60 is just like
Hmm.
standing their fucking ground in the
Yeah.
streets of Ukraine and like putting up an actual fight against a world power military.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it seems like most like the Russian military stuff that they're using is like a few decades outdated, like Cold War era stuff.
Mm,
And from what I've heard, most of the men that they sent out to fight in Ukraine right off the bat were like just new recruits that were being sent out there for a training exercise. And so they just didn't really know that they were going in there to fight. And it's interesting that, you know, this big idea of what Russia is coming to light, that they're just kind of old and rusty and still kind of stuck in old Cold Era kind of ways.
because
And the
that is
Ukrainian
interesting.
people are like a kind of a newer country who are ready to fight for it and stand up. And they're kind of showing how like a new age war is fought.
Yeah, no, the whole Russia Ukraine situation is pretty tough. But I do have a couple of Russian friends or like friends with Russian family. And
Mm-hmm.
they're saying, I've heard that message also by them, is like there is the the military force that they had originally sent to like the front lines of Ukraine, Russia did, was like
Mm-hmm.
a training exercise. And then all of a sudden they were in a war. And it was like, holy shit, what? And then
Yeah,
but
well, I guess that's the way of doing a surprise attack. If no one knows
no
anything,
one knows. No
then
one
it's hard
knows.
for the secret to leak out.
No, but about the outdated military equipment. So one of my Russian buddy friends, he has a, I think, an uncle in the Russian military. And so
Mm-hmm.
like actually in the Russian military. And they're saying is that there's currently a group of like you know how they're like claiming neo-Nazism in Ukraine. So like
Yeah,
apparently
there is like something behind that. There's like
there is a group. There's like a
mm-hmm.
anarchist group basically that's in Ukraine that is like killing Ukrainians and Russians. And so the Russian government is trying to wipe them out. But like some of the footage you see of like old Russian tanks and stuff is actually that our anarchist group had bought those tanks possibly off the third
Okay.
market or like a third party market or something. And so
Yeah.
like the one that crushed that random car was most likely not a
Mm-hmm.
Russian and just like an anarchist group that was trying to like spread
Hmm.
massive havoc.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard that there was like a division of like the Ukrainian National Guard that was like super neo-Nazi, and they were repping like the two lightning bolts
Holy
as like their
shit.
insignia. And I heard they like boo-fooed off to Poland right as the war started.
Dude, there's
Oh
so
yeah.
much.
Oh yeah. If you
God.
want like the best source of the Russian-Ukraine war, like the best
Okay.
way of learning about it, you go to Reddit and you go to r/combat footage.
Okay.
Like that's how you get the best minute to minute what's going on over there.
Interesting. That's crazy that we're living in a
Like
world where
I
Reddit's
saw
our
footage
best
on
source.
there of like 20 like I saw videos of like 20 Russian helicopters all flying towards the city center. Like I was seeing like helicopters land in the ocean, and you see the paratroopers jumping out. It was crazy.
Oh,
But I haven't been on there since I hit the road.
the road.
But yeah, oh man, I just hope Sleepy Joe really sleeps on this. We don't need to get involved.
Oh, and getting into Ukraine.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a shame, and like people are dying, and that really sucks. And Russia is a horrible place. Vladimir Putin's a horrible man doing horrible things. But you know, Ukraine had about 30 years to join NATO, and they didn't. Unfortunately, that's just how it played out. They didn't, and NATO exists exactly for this reason. So Russia doesn't invade small little countries and bully them. But they just never joined, and I don't think we should step out of our bounds and rush in there and try to police the world again. And I think Europe needs to start dealing with its own problems a little bit. That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, there is.
The Ukrainians are fighting strong, and I hope they keep fighting strong.
Again, it's with human life. It starts to be like, how is one human life more valuable than the other? But at the same time, like, I mean, if NATO went into this, like, just to save Ukraine in a way, like, the amount of human life that was lost would just only go up. And then it would become a full-on war between the West and the East. Like, and then what do you do?
I think Russia's just kind of gonna bully them for a little bit, and he'll either get the whole country or he'll strike a deal where he just gets the part that he wants, which is he wants a seaport into the Black Sea and the Baltic. And he wants somewhere to park his yacht, and he wants some of their oil fields. It's kind of really, what he's in there for.
Yeah. So one thing that I did see is, so there's natural gas, a huge, Ukraine has a lot of natural gas stores. So, and they're in Crimea and surrounding Crimea in the water, and then also in eastern and western Ukraine, kind of where they're focusing their attacks. And so that would be interesting though, because I feel like Putin definitely would want that one in western Ukraine, and then all of a sudden you're starting to like cut off the entire coastline from Ukraine, and then I don't know if Ukraine would be buying that.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things.
Well, I think Russia also underestimated their opponent. Sorry, you can go.
Oh, I was just saying, it's like, I just don't know how the Russian people are gonna back this war. Like, if I'm a Russian citizen and I'm going about my life just as a normal citizen, bro, and then all of a sudden I can't use Netflix, I can't use Visa, I can't use MasterCard, I can't use YouTube, I can't use Facebook, I can't use Instagram, I can't use my bank. What the fuck? Right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm gonna be pissed as fuck, dude. Right? I'm gonna be like, screw
what
up.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, like, what the hell are they doing? You know? They're just going back to 1940, dude.
Well, I know. Well, a few months ago, China and Russia were like, "Hey, we're an alliance now. We're like a no holds bar friendship. Nothing's on the table. Like, we'll do anything for each other." And China has all of their own proprietary social medias and everything, because they don't have anything westernized. Like, they don't have YouTube or Facebook. They have all their own stuff. So maybe we'll see some of the Chinese stuff move over into Russia.
Ooh.
And they'll just be on their little whole social network system. And then you'll have like not only like a divided East and West in the world, but also in like the virtual world, two separate internets.
That's so crazy, bro. That's so crazy.
But I mean, Vladimir Putin has he has a strong hold on Russian media. Like, whenever someone tries to run against them, they usually end up killing themselves, or like just he just offs them. So the guy can probably, and he has all the backing of all the Russian oligarchs and all the higher ups over there, and he's very popular with like the old guard, because he's an ex-KGB, so all the Soviet guys like him. So I think he's just got a very strong grip on all the whole big, kind of like the older kind of like a old guard of the government over there.
Sure. I mean, they're probably scared also,
Oh yeah.
Like, if you've seen 6 of your friends go missing for the last 10 years, like, are you gonna say anything?
God, fuck that.
Nah, bro, you'd probably just like go flee to South America or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the Germans. Jeez. Why don't you like, just maybe a little bit more of what's going on in the movement that you're part of right now? Like, so what are you doing to show, like, as a demonstration? Like, how are you getting people's attention? How is your voice going to be heard?
Me as an individual or a group as a whole?
Both.
Um, well, to have our voice be heard, like me as like my truck, we it was sponsored by a few companies. Some of my dad's friends, their whole logos and their stickers on it. And he had a few graphics companies, so we wrapped the whole truck and trailer, and it was like, sponsored by them. And a lot of it has been through social media, like getting the word out. Like the people I've been like sharing stories of like just stuff on the road, and the People's Convoy Instagram has been resharing all that.
Mhm.
Like I've been kind of a big part of it, just because I'm able to film while the other drivers are actually driving. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. But a lot of it's been through Facebook, because it's a lot of like it's like that 45-year-old Facebook boomer demographic. they they fucking love all the Trump stuff and all that kind of jazz. Like they're all patriots and stuff, so they spread the word around on Facebook a lot. That's where like all these big groups kind of get together, and it's crazy how it works. Like every overpass we drove under through Pennsylvania and Ohio had people waving flags and cheering for us. It was crazy. But in terms of like getting our word out as a group, we haven't been getting much media attention. Over the weekend, some places were saying we were fizzling out as we were gaining more trucks and they were rolling in. But today, the organizers of our group, they went into D.C. and they met with Ted Cruz and Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. And like those two guys brought in the media, and they had questions and everything. So like I've seen our convoy reported on the New York Times and everything now.
Wow.
So we're starting to get some recognition. Let me see if I can find some articles.
For sure. And what do you guys want to happen?
I think the group would say they would want an end to all mandates, but it kind of came at an interesting time, because now kind of after the State of the Union address, Joe Biden has basically said it's over without saying it's over. And another thing they really want is an end of the state of emergency, because since COVID's a declared state of emergency, that's what allows the government to overreach and do things without consulting the people or the Constitution. And a lot of people think that, since COVID's died down a lot, Omicron had less deaths and was, less dangerous than the flu or the common cold. People think just it's time to end this state of emergency and get back to our lives.
That would be crazy. Honestly, I didn't expect us to like agree to move on,
Yeah.
And I think
people are just tired of it.
Yeah, I think that's the power in it. That's like the power of the people right there. Is if we wouldn't have rebelled, if we wouldn't have started protesting, if you wouldn't have these movements like you're doing right now, then I don't think the government would have responded, in like a fair manner. I think they just see that they're losing money. They're losing people in, all these places that are keeping mandates are losing like literal population. And so at some point you got to change.
Yeah, houses in Florida are selling out like crazy. Yeah, you gotta listen. You
gotta listen. I mean, once the dollar or their pocket starts to get a little affected. Okay, let's get this article here.
Yeah. Do a few of them up.
All right. Okay. We got GOP senator. Oh, this is Washington Times. GOP senators to meet with the People's Convoy truckers. 2 Republican senators announced Monday they will meet with the People's Convoy truckers, Ted Cruz and Ron Johnson, to discuss the harmful effects of President Biden's vaccine mandates. The truckers are calling for an end to the state of emergency that led to overreaching mandates. Kind of exactly what you're saying. Modeling after Canadian truckers that paralyzed that nation's capital. Are you familiar? Do you have a lot of knowledge what went on in Canada? So I feel like I'm slightly naive in that situation.
Oh, so a bunch of truckers, they like all across Canada, they're like, hey, like we're sick of these mandates. Like it's basically the same thing. They were sick of the mandates and they were sick of all the COVID stuff. So they flooded Ottawa, the capital, and they flooded a bunch of border crossings, like in Buffalo, New York, and near Michigan. Like they just put their trucks there and they parked them and they weren't moving.
What?
Yeah, they basically shut everything down. And then Justin Trudeau, he went out there and he's like fuck all you guys, and he declared a national state of emergency. And he was seizing trucks and basically making a bunch of national terrorists out of them
I
just to get the
did
riffraff out.
I did see some of that with Trudeau is like just
Even though like when a bunch of like Antifa protesters of left leaning stuff like that last year marched into Ottawa and were burning down buildings, Trudeau went and kneeled out in the street with them. But if truckers come and park their trucks, he goes out and arrests them and labels them as terrorists, which I think is a bit hypocritical and ridiculous.
yeah, man, dude. What I'm looking for, man, through all this is like, can we just get like objective leadership? Is that like so hard? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's absurd, right?
just someone who cares, just a little bit.
God, it's just
Like we should be demanding more. It's
I just don't
like
get
the
it.
people, like it's
Okay, wait, I'm trying to figure out how to oh, there we go. Sorry. No, I just don't get it. Like I'm trying to wrap my mind around like how this whole thing started. And especially I know it's especially a thing within America. I get that we're probably a harder country to do it with given the amount of diversity and thought and just like people in
yeah.
economic power and Jesus Christ, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's people just lie. Like our leadership just lies to us on a constant basis. And I feel like people are just done with that shit, bro. Like being lied to
Yeah.
sucks.
I mean, like especially our generation, like we live in a time where we have seen every institution of our government and society fail us.
What do you mean?
Well, let's see. First off, the banking system in 2008, it crashed because a bunch of bankers were scamming everyone and taking money and listing houses for too much. And you had the 2008 financial crisis. The military became overbloated and invaded, like Scott has been involved for 20 years for no goddamn reason. The college system, they got a college degree, their lives would be perfect. And now a bunch of them have, $100,000-$200,000 worth of debt that they can't pay off. And then our health organizations kind of failed us with COVID. It spiraled out of control. And, it was, I think everyone can agree COVID was a huge disaster. And, like a lot of people were I was disillusioned by COVID. I mean, by like the college system when COVID hit, because that's why I decided to leave college, was because I couldn't deal with the online classes. And I thought it was ridiculous to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars on, a little online college course.
Yeah. It is wild that there was no reduction.
Yeah.
Like this is like the same quality as you'd be getting at like DeVry, and I'm paying like $40,000 a year for this or something. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Where were you at? Where were you at for
school?
Yeah.
Oh, for school, I went to Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. So it's like an hour north of Boulder. My sister went to Boulder, and I didn't really know where I wanted to go. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go out to Colorado. It should be fun out
You're
there.
cutting out a lot here, buddy.
Biology." And then I pivoted to forest
Here,
and
hold on,
rangeland
Logan.
management.
Logan. You're
Okay.
cutting
Yeah,
out a
just
lot. I don't know what you're saying. You're cutting out a
okay.
lot on the Wi-Fi is or something. I'm just I don't know. I don't know what happened or something. I just like couldn't hear what you're saying. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, you're good now if you want to say what you
It's
okay, good.
probably the efficacy of Hilton Honors Wi-Fi. So where did I last leave
So
off?
you were saying how you were kind of didn't know where you're going to college.
Oh, I was my sister went out to Colorado and I just kind of decided to follow her out there because she like kind of she moved her whole life out there and is never coming back to Illinois. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go out there and have some family out there. It will be a fun new adventure. And I started in biology, and then I wasn't really good at chemistry, so I pivoted to forest and rangeland management. And like around like I think got about like halfway through my degree, and then COVID hit, and my dad was like, yeah, like you don't really know what I was like, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with this degree anyway. My dad was like, yeah, why don't you just come work for me and we'll see where it goes. And so I agreed to that,
And so what are you doing now?
and I think it was the right decision for me. I work in excavation, so we dig big holes. We do a lot of river restoration, a lot of stormwater projects, so building detention ponds. Um, we do some storm drain, so that's laying big, 36-inch pipe. Um, we just go where the mud is, dredging a lot of lakes and rivers. So we do a lot of variety, and we try to do some niche stuff. This year we've got a lagoon in the city of Chicago proper that we're draining.
Oh, how do you drain a
So,
lagoon?
well, you got to basically seal it off, and then you can just pump the water out somewhere else. So you can either find some other reservoir to pipe it into, or you can build your own reservoir, just a temporary one, drain all your water into that one. And the reason we have to drain is because we're dredging it. So we're getting rid of all the built up silt and muck and material that's built up on the bottom. And we're just going to make it improve the water quality, make it kind of more of a healthier ecosystem again.
Oh, that's cool.
You're turning back the clock a little bit.
And so what is normally building up that's like causing it to deteriorate?
Well, just as animals, like a fish dies or plants live and die, it ends up, get eaten by something, but eventually becomes refuse, and then that all just builds up as sediment. So it's kind of just the creation of dirt, the creation of silt and sediment at the bottom of the body of water. And just eventually over time, enough animals and creatures die, it just eventually builds up.
That's interesting.
And then that's just part of the natural life cycle of a body of water.
Gotcha. Why is like
we did.
Is this just because it's like in the city of Chicago, or is this like a natural phenomenon? Because I feel like we don't have to excavate like random mountain lakes,
Well, those are like natural ecosystems that we don't really need to, if you have a pond in your backyard, you want it to always have fish and always have birds coming to it.
Mm-hmm.
However, a mountain lake, it has this natural process where there are parts of its time, over 1,000 years, where it's good for animals to live, and then eventually it changes where it's not as welcoming of an ecosystem, and the hardier species have to live there, and it's just not as good for a large amount of life. But like a park, people want the water to be clear all the time. They want to see fish and frogs swimming around in there. They want birds to come by and the right plants to grow. And also because of depth. If you get rid of that sediment, you can have deeper water and your pond can store more water in the event of rain.
That's cool.
So
You
like
guys are doing.
we actually did it at Gumbard West. Our company did a few years ago when they drained the pond. That was
Like
us. Yeah,
Lake
we
Ellen?
dredged it. Yeah.
You drained Lake
Remember when
Ellen?
they were when they put in that like storm?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were the ones that drained Lake Ellen.
Oh shit, you guys are famous around these parts.
Like in
Holy cow.
2016 or whatever.
Yeah, that was so fun. You throw the rocks
My
into
dad got a statue or two dedicated to him.
a statue? Holy shit.
It's not a statue of him, but it's dedicated to him.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like in Elmhurst. It's like a few kids like swinging on a swing set made of steel. Like dedicated to Dan Davies.
That's awesome. Did you
Lake Ellen was us. I got the whole thing about that job was I got to finally start taking my truck to school because I could just park on the job site right on the lake.
There it is. That's the benefits of having a dad in the industry.
Yeah. Privileged.
So I know you have an interest in reptiles. You want to?
Yes, it's more of an obsession.
An obsession.
You can call it what it is.
Okay, so why and like where are we going with this?
I don't know. Okay, so I've always liked animals. Always. Even when I was like 2 years old, I was like, yeah, I want to do something with animals when I grow up. And for a while, like when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to have pets because I was bad at taking care of them because they would die all the time. And then when I finally got into high school, I was like, okay, I'm a responsible human being now. And like a year before, like I think the summer before my sophomore year, I convinced my mom to let me get a snake.
No.
Which I don't know how that happened. And then like 6 months later, I got a second snake. Oh. And then when I went to college in my first year, I got like 3 more snakes.
Bro, wait, you have 5 snakes?
I have 20 snakes, dude.
20 snakes?
I have a whole building where I keep all my animals.
Wait, hold on.
I have
a building?
Let's see, I have 20 snakes, 20 birds, that's including chickens. I got like 15 or so turtles and a few rabbits.
What the heck? Oh, you're cut out. Oh, you're back?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Dude.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
So
how do you have your own building? Let's start with that.
Okay, so a few years ago, my grandma got sick. She had to live with us. My dad was kind of sick of it. He saw a nice property with a big 3-car garage. So we bought it, and we bought a new office for our business. So he doesn't have to store anything there anymore. So I just kind of finessed my way into that one.
What? And so, like, why do you feel like you need 20 snakes?
Well, like, I like breeding them. Like, I don't have 20 of the same snake. I've got like a few different species. I've got like 10 different species.
How big?
And each snake needs its own little girlfriend. Oh yeah. Are you asking about my biggest snake or my littlest snake? My smallest snake is like 6 inches long. His name's Watto. He's a Kenyan sand boa. My largest snake is a Burmese python named Mogu. So she's like 8 feet long.
Oh man, that's bigger than you, dude.
Yeah.
It could eat you.
No, it couldn't.
Why?
Because it's not big enough to eat me. Humans are hard for a snake to swallow because of our shoulders.
So I got to do the shoulder press more.
I got a green anaconda. When she's full grown, she could probably eat you. You're a skinny little boy.
No, I'm not that skinny, bro.
You're not that skinny, but you're lanky.
I'm lanky. Damn.
You fold.
I'm dense though, bro. She might be choking him. How much do you think I weigh?
I think you weigh. Well, I haven't seen you in a few years. Do you run? I need to know. Do you still run all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. If you still, do you lift a bunch of weights? Do you lift at all? 'Cause I bet you do a little bit of
I do a
lifting.
little bit, yeah. Just like mostly body weight stuff.
Okay. Okay. Like, I don't want to say 220 because I bet that's way too heavy.
220? That'd be huge.
180 maybe.
Oh, you got it. Holy cow. Everyone always underestimates me. Dang, you were pretty good there. You're pretty good. 180 is not a small human. Let's be real.
No, I consider like 180 like average.
Yeah, damn.
Like I come from a family of big guys. I'm around a lot of big guys. So to me, you're small. not small, but you're small.
Yo, watch what
Smaller
you're
than
saying,
the
dog.
average person I interact with.
Okay, so why did you
Nah,
need
man, you're fit.
why did you need so many of them? Like what
I
are you
don't know,
feeling?
'cause they're
Like what's
cool.
like the obsession? Like where does it do you study
It's like,
them? Are you learning about them? Are you breeding
yeah,
them?
I like all of it. And it's like, I got room and like it's not that much, like, yeah, that thing's cool. I'll take that one. I like collecting them. I like looking at them. I like taking care of them. I like how they all have their own little different things that they need. I like showing them off. Oh yeah, you can come for a tour, by the way, if you want to meet all of them.
I think I would have like a aneurysm, but like I'll do it. Like, dude,
We'll
snakes,
start you
man.
small. We'll start you with the smallest snake, and then we'll build them up. I have some pretty nice snakes.
Dude,
I have some very friendly ones.
I don't trust a snake, bro. Don't try to tell me a snake's
No,
friendly, dude.
no.
Was it gonna
No.
cuddle? Is it gonna cuddle?
Yeah. I have a snake,
Cuddling
Nessie.
snake means it's trying to kill you, buddy.
No, I have a snake named Nessie, and she likes the warm spots. So like, if you're holding her, she'll slither around your neck and just like fold up, and she'll like just lay on the back of your neck. That's where it's nice and warm for her to heat up. Trust me, there are snakes that you can trust, and there are snakes that you cannot trust.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, like, every snake has its own little personality. Like, they only have a few moods. They can either be like angry, like curious, or just, whatever. But most snakes, they're just kind of chill. They're just hanging out. They don't want to be bothered. They just want to eat and they want to sleep. But there are some snakes that are just rude. They're like, yeah, fuck you. I don't want you to come near me. I don't want you to touch me. But most of the big constrictors have, they have a little bit of a bigger brain than your average reptile. Especially like the reticulated pythons. They're like the longest snake in the world. The largest one I think ever was like 25 feet. But they have some pretty intelligent brains. They can recognize people. They can, they can learn habits and stuff. I mean, they'll never be your best friend like a dog or a cat or anything, but they can learn a routine. They can kind of figure out what's going on. They can learn the difference between something that they eat and something that they don't eat.
Huh. I don't know. It's like, so my girlfriend has her family has a snake, and like,
yeah,
I walked into their house for the first time. I was like, what the hell is that? Why is it in your house?
What do they got? Like a boa constrictor?
It's like 6 or 6.5 feet long or something. Like, nice.
Okay, yeah.
Like a great, like a too big for my comfort, at least. And
What
she's like, no,
color
that's
is it?
small. It's small, whatever. But like, dude, one day we got into her house like late at night, and I like went and slept in her brother's room. And so like I went in and just crawled in the bed, just went out because it was like midnight. And then I woke up the next morning and I'm like, good morning, world. Oh my God. And like right next to me was the tank with the snake. And she knew it, dude. She knew it, but she didn't want to tell me
She
because
was
she knew I
watching
wouldn't
you.
sleep there. And I was like, the whole night I could have died and it would have been on you. Oh God. I need to get over it, I guess. God. Okay,
we'll
I'll
break
go.
that. I can break that fear for you.
I'm not getting bit. I'm not.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Have you gotten bit?
I won't give you. Yeah, a ton of time.
How does
I have
that feel?
some snakes are super nice, and others are just like I have one snake named Dorado. He's a reticulated python. When I first got him, he would bite me like. Oh, I'm cutting out. I think.
Oh, I can hear you. Oh, now you're cutting out.
Oh, I think I'm back.
You're back. You're back.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I have a snake named Dorado. He's a reticulated python. He's like 4 feet right now. When I first got him, he would bite me like 7 fucking times every time I tried to handle him. Like I got him trained down. He's nice and chill now. He doesn't bite me anymore. He's a nice little relaxed snake. He's a good noodle. He knows what's up. And then I have 2 yellow anacondas, and they're the meanest fucking things that I've ever had. Like they don't like any interaction. They don't like you looking at them. They're rude. And then I have snakes like Nessie, and Nessie's never bitten me. But yeah, I have snakes that like bite me every time, and snakes that never bite me, and some that have only bitten me once. It's all about kind of reading the animal and knowing when you're going too far with it and when you're kind of pushing its boundaries too much.
What does the snake do when you're pushing its boundaries?
You can just kind of read their body language. Like if it's really tightening up, really coiling up, and kind of just all tense, it's like that guy's on edge. You shouldn't fuck with it. If they're moving pretty erratically, and if they're trying to like look you in the eye and like keep their head on you, you can tell that they're not about you.
That sounds like the worst.
It's fun. It's just I thought it was a fun skill to learn. I always liked them. And it's very rewarding to kind of get a new animal and learn about it, like as the animal is as an individual, and see like how your relationship with that animal grows, and like seeing like an animal that first starts off hating you, and you eventually both learn how to read each other and how to interact with one another without something going wrong.
And where do you see this going?
I'm doing it for fun right now, but I have a few project animals that they're just not ready to breed yet and won't be for a few more years. But just breeding them, selling them. I got a few chickens and I started breeding them, and I'm doing that for fun right now. But in a few generations, I'm just going to start doing it for food, feed them to the snakes. I got a few rabbits that I'm going to breed for a little bit. I just like them. It's what I like to do. My family, we do things. We go all the way. We don't half-ass stuff. And it rubbed off on me. My dad's a big motorcycle guy. He has like 10 motorcycles.
10?
He has a whole garage he built from it. Yeah. Which I think it makes less sense than having 20 snakes. You can only ride one motorcycle at a time.
How many snakes can you ride?
You can't ride any snakes. But it's an obsession. I just do it because I like it, though.
Is there a way to monetize it?
Yeah, you can sell them.
I feel like
there's a big community. There's a few big YouTubers that do it. Sorry. There's a few big YouTubers that are big in the animal community. Like a few million subscribers. Brian Barjak's one of them. He's probably the biggest name. He's the guy that got me into it. They're all kind of wannabe Steve Irwins. That's because Steve Irwin was the OG.
could you see yourself doing stuff like that?
Um, my life's very busy right now. I would like to do it maybe someday. That's kind of what the Instagram's about. I got up to like 1,000 followers, and then that was like my big project last summer, was to get up to 1,000, and I did. And then I kind of just took my foot off the gas a little bit to focus on other stuff. But I'd like to one day, have some people under me, make it a little bit of a company, have a bit of a team,
That'd be cool, dude.
do some videos or stuff like that, just some informational stuff. I don't really know.
I think you should try it. I think you could be
Yeah.
good at it. I mean, why not? I mean, you could just make it really easy, like just like very
Exactly.
limited editing and just like talk about it. Like if you were just like holding a massive snake while it was wrapping around your neck and you're just telling information about it and like acting like you're kind of like crazed in a way, like, because you have a snake wrapped around your head, people would probably watch for a little while.
Yeah.
I think you should try it. Sweet, man. Is there anything?
Videos sorry. No, you go.
You go ahead.
I do videos sometimes, but like it's hard as one person managing so much and to film it all
No, I totally understand.
at the same time. There are some guys who can do it, but I what were you saying earlier?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you if you had anything else you wanted to let out before we left here.
Okay. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
All right. Maybe I'll come by the snake lab. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, the snake lab.
Snake lab. I'll come by the snake bag. We can film a video there.
It's in Winfield. It's right on Geneva. It's really easy to get to.
Okay. When are you back after the convoy?
I think we leave because we were just kind of milling about in DC. We didn't really know when we were going to leave. And our sponsors were like, yeah, just come back whenever you feel ready. And because our organizers met with those congressional leaders, we think we're in a pretty good spot. We feel pretty comfortable leaving the group. We feel like we've kind of accomplished something. So I think we're heading back tomorrow. So I'll definitely be back by Friday.
Cool.
And I have the whole weekend free, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you want to come by.
Cool. I do leave Monday, so I guess we'll have to do it over this weekend. We can. Yeah, you can. God. I'll
feed some tortoises, hang out with some birds.
I'll have to.
There's some cute and cuddly animals there too. Some cute little baby rabbits.
I like rabbits.
We'll get over your fear of snakes. Don't worry. It'll be fun.
Oh God, I'll have to. I don't know.
I got a new rabbit. His name's Tippet. He's gonna be my star male.
Your star male?
Got 2 girlfriends.
Man, he's living.
Stud. They're called studs.
Why are they?
He's young. He won't be ready for a few months. Oh no, that's just the term that like agricultural use.
Gotcha.
Like a stud is like, it's kind of more for like a show animal. It's like you use it when it's like for like a pretty or like an animal that's gonna make you a lot of money or something.
Sure. Cool.
I prefer to use a male. Yeah.
You should get one of those massive rabbits that's like.
But I hope I wasn't too monotone for your audience.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Oh, the Flemish giant.
Yes.
The Flemish giant. Oh my God, I think they're too big. I'm building. My goal for the spring is to build a new chicken coop, and my goal for the summer is to build a new rabbit hutch. So.
Wow, that sounds fun. Do you have land and shit?
Well, I mean, I have around this garage. I have a few square feet I can work with.
Make it work.
It's basically a full-time job already. I'm there every day already, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who's watching them right
growing. Now? Tyler Ruckstetter?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's watching them right now.
No way.
Usually, it's either Christian Plath, David Wozniak, or Tyler Exeter that watch over him on the way.
Whoa, that's a throwback. I haven't thought about those kids in too long, man. They're still around?
Christian lives around here. He's going to CSU, Colorado State, in the fall, I think. Wozniak, he's around during like the breaks, but he's almost done at U of I. And Tyler finished in the winter at U of I, so he's around GE full time.
Wow, big stuff, dude. Well, thank you
So
for
yeah, I'm
coming
still hanging
on.
with the same people. Oh yeah, thanks. It was a lot of fun.
No, it was awesome,
Thanks for
man.
having me.
Of course, dude. Yeah, anytime.